plays a very important role when it comes to us experiencing pleasure. And what am I talking about is a very important organ called our heart. Yes, that's right. And Heart Awareness Month is actually observed annually in September, and it is dedicated to raising awareness about cardiovascular diseases and promoting heart health as well. It's a key campaign run by the Heart and Stroke Foundation South Africa and aimed at encouraging people to take preventative measures, understanding the risk, and of course adopt healthier lifestyles to protect their hearts. Now, joining us live, you can catch this interview live on Facebook and Instagram, YouTube as well, is Juandre Watson. She is from the Heart and Stroke Foundation. And welcome, Juandre, back to Urban Woman. Wonderful to connect with you.
Hi, thank you for having me, and it's always a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely wonderful chatting with you as well. Let's jump straight into it. What is Heart Awareness Month about? And also, what are the themes for the month?
Oh, thanks for the question. Yes, so Heart and Stroke Foundation South Africa dedicates the entire month of September to heart awareness. And it is one of our key campaigns at the foundation, where we aim to make a significant impact on heart disease and heart awareness through the campaign strategy, so that we can reduce the burden of cardiovascular disease in South Africa. And during the month of September, we were looking at heart failure and the given misconceptions about what exactly it is, as well as looking at the risk factors. So week 1, we looked at what is heart failure. Week 2, we looked at the causes of heart failure. And week 3, we were looking at the management and living with heart failure. And then naturally week 4, which is the type 2 diabetes and the risk factors for heart failure.
So important for us to have this awareness, because we only realize the impact, I say, when it happens to us, when our health is actually compromised. Can you elaborate a little bit more as to why the Heart and Stroke Foundation actually exists in the South African continent?
Yeah, so if we're looking at cardiovascular disease and cerebrovascular disease, which I mentioned is one of the why we're trying to we want to reduce that burden of cardiovascular and cerebrovascular disease in South Africa. We find that it is actually one of the leading causes of death and disability in South Africa after HIV and AIDS, and it is responsible for about 1 in 6 deaths, claiming more lives than all of the cancers combined. In South Africa, there's about 225 South Africans that die from heart disease and strokes.
So that's with regards to the South African context, which is so amazing. Now, you mentioned some risk factors, right? What are some of the causes specific to heart failure?
So if we're looking at heart failure in particular, we always, with any cardiac condition or cerebro or cardiovascular condition, we always look at it as a combination of factors that could have led to that disease. So, but specifically for heart failure, we're looking at coronary artery disease or heart attacks, whereby it causes damage to the actual arteries supplying the heart muscle. And this naturally reduces the flow and can lead to heart attacks, in which in turn damages the heart tissue, which leads to heart failure. Other factors could be like hypertension or high blood pressure, like everyone knows it as, where it causes the heart to pump the blood a lot harder throughout the body. So because of that extra work, over time the heart muscle becomes rigid or too weak to pump the blood properly. Just briefly, other conditions could be like heart valve disease, myocarditis, which is inflammation of the heart muscle. It could be congenital heart disorder, so issues that are present from birth. And then naturally other diseases or causes could be like your long-term diseases like diabetes, thyroid disorders, chemical reactions or allergic reactions, and obviously factors like your behavior factors like smoking, drinking, not exercising, being obese, and all of these factors as well.
Right. Now you mentioned something that I think we need to touch a little bit more on, because going back to the risk factors, one of the contributing factors was smoking tobacco, right? What are some of the statistics that are actually related to smoking?
So, tobacco is one of the single most preventable causes of death globally, and it is currently responsible for killing about 1 in 10 adults worldwide, or about 1 in every 6 seconds, if we're looking at
Wow.
it more closely.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Hmm.
smoking kills, more than half of the people before the age of 60, if they smoke throughout their adult life. And if we're looking at heart disease, so it increases your heart disease risk by 25%. Obviously more than females than in males, but it can also be a risk for about 5.6% as the cause of heart attacks as well.
So very interesting. I think there's a lot of smokers, and we know it's an addiction, so it's not so easy to get rid of it. But let's talk about some trending things like e-cigarettes and hookah, bubblies, as some may call it. What would you say? Is it safer than smoking tobacco?
So the truth is that
Yeah.
even e-cigarettes, hookah, vaping, all of these new products are just as dangerous for your lungs and your circulatory system, so your vein system in general, same as tobacco. So if we're
Hmm.
looking at this e-cigarettes that are popularized and glamorized on social media, it places quite a lot of young people at risk of initiating their use. Current evidence shows that the e-cigarettes are harmful to health, and their use have been linked to severe health conditions, including cardiovascular diseases, cancers, chest pains, and mouth ulcers. But yeah, so if we're looking according to the National Center of Chronic Disease Prevention and Health Promotion, e-cigarettes produce an aerosol by heating the liquid that usually contains nicotine, the addictive
Hmm.
drug, in regular cigarettes, cigars, and other tobacco products. It also contains flavorings and other chemicals that make up the aerosol. So it's the e-cigarette aerosol, that generally contains fewer chemicals than the deadly mix of the 7,000 chemicals in normal cigarettes. But these aerosols is not harmless. It can contain harmful and potentially harmful substances, including nicotine, heavy metals like lead, volatile organic compounds, and or cancer-causing agents.
Why, oh, why, oh, why would you want to do that to our wonderful bodies? Hey, knowing all of this, I think the next time somebody picks up a cigarette or an e-cigarette, just remember what Juandre shared with us. And then I'm thinking about the parents. I mean, there's a lot of parents that give their kids e-cigarettes, sadly, shockingly. And I think it's so important that we have this information, because to understand what we're allowing our kids to actually do to their bodies. Where can our listeners go for more information about the campaign and about the Heart and Stroke Foundation as well?
Yes, so what you said is very true. We need to be very careful. So listeners can visit our website at www.heartfoundation.co.za, or they can contact us on our chat line, which is 021 422 1586. But they can also visit our social media pages like our Facebook, X, and Instagram.
Wonderful. The information is all out there. Go and take advantage of it. The Heart and Stroke Foundation. Remember, when you're purchasing, and if you are double minded about whether a product is good for you, what do they need to look out for, Juandre?
Well, naturally, if it's not naturally formed, like let's say your fruits and vegetables and all of that, those are in their natural form, so those are healthier for you. But looking at other food products, you can look at our heart mark products or the heart mark
Exactly.
endorsement
There you go.
sign, which is on the product, which is a heart with the knife and fork on either side, which people can look out for and is the healthier option.
So much easier. Hey, just look for that heart sign, and there you go. Have yourself a lovely day. Thank you so much for sharing such wonderful information and all around the Heart Awareness Month. Until then, a goodbye for now until we connect again.
Thank you for having me.
Only a pleasure. And that was Juandre Watson from the Heart and Stroke Foundation chatting with us all about Heart Awareness Month. It's a very important organ in our body. Let's protect it. Let's be wise. We say information is so important. That's Tobeka in the back there, by the way. She loves to hide from the camera. She loves to hide from the mic, but she's getting caught out today. Let's go for a quick break, and then it's time for me to catch up. It's your Urban Woman Show with me, Razia Rangrage.
Urban Woman, sponsored by Vada Gold Gem Jewelers, 534 Peter Mokaba Ridge, Overport.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a master.